One killed after two teens steal car and crash into an Uber vehicle. Sheboygan Falls man facing child sexual assault charges. Flooding causing big problems along the Manitowoc River. These and other local stories are coming up on this edition of Community News Review.
This is Community News Review, a service of WSCS TV, news content provided by WHBL.
I'm Maddie Pfister, and this is Community News Review for Friday, March 22nd, 2019. One person is killed after a stolen car reportedly driven by teenagers crashed into an Uber. This all happened around 1:30 this morning in the 2000th block of West Orchard, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. The two teens suffered minor injuries and were taken into custody. Police say a passenger in the Uber vehicle also suffered minor injuries, but another person involved did suffer fatal injuries in the crash. Another passenger, a 24-year-old woman, also suffered serious injuries and remains hospitalized. The investigation is still continuing. A man from Sheboygan Falls is facing child sexual assault charges. According to the criminal complaint, 36-year-old Timothy Hayes was charged this week with sexual assault of a child under 16 years of age. The alleged incidents happened between August of last year and January of this year in the city of Sheboygan Falls. If convicted, Hayes could face up to $100,000 in fines and up to 40 years in prison. The alleged victim, who is 13, tells police that the sexual contact happened over 20 times at Hayes' homes in Sheboygan Falls. Flooding is causing some major problems in Manitowoc. 5 homes had to be evacuated Thursday along the Manitowoc River due to flooding, according to Fox 11 and city officials. The water has gone near those homes and is inching closer to others as ice chunks travel down the river. Homes directly affected are those in the area near Manitowoc's western edge, specifically near the intersection of 41st and Archer Streets. Conditions on the river have been changing quickly as residents nearby have been urged to get their valuables and stay elsewhere. In case there are people who do not have a place to stay, an area senior center is acting as a temporary shelter. Monitoring the situation is critical right now as residents are being asked to let officials know if the water levels are rising near them. The U.S. Department of Justice says a Sheboygan man appeared in court Tuesday to face multiple child pornography charges. 61-year-old Jeffrey Ernest pleaded guilty to producing and possessing child pornography in 2015 and engaging in illicit sexual conduct at a foreign place between 2014 and 2015. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of producing child pornography, 1 count of engaging in illicit sexual conduct with a minor in the Philippines, and 1 count of possession of child pornography. Sentencing is set for July 11th, and Homeland Security investigations are investigating this case with the cooperation of the Sheboygan Police Department. The individual who was struck and killed by a vehicle in the parking lot at Mills Fleet Farm in the town of Plymouth has been identified as 69-year-old Jerome H. Colligan of Sheboygan. Police are called to the scene on Eastern Avenue shortly after noon on Monday and confirmed that Colligan was released after being struck by a vehicle driven by an 80-year-old man from Bowler, Wisconsin. The Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office says the cause is still under investigation. A Madison judge has placed a temporary injunction on battery of laws passed during a lame duck session of the Wisconsin legislature, which some say were aimed at restricting the powers of the then incoming Governor Tony Evers. Dane County Circuit Judge Richard Neese issued the order Thursday morning, bypassing a request to put the order on hold, which is filed by state legislators. In a statement, Governor Tony Evers called for the ruling a win for Wisconsin voters. Today's ruling is a victory for the people of Wisconsin and for preserving the Wisconsin Constitution. The legislature overplayed its hand by using an unlawful process to accumulate more power for itself and override the will of the people. Despite the outcome of last November's election, I look forward to putting the disappointing chapter behind us so we can move forward together to put the needs of the people of Wisconsin first. The bills were signed by Governor Walker during a stop in Green Bay in mid-December without any line item vetoes. The bills placed restrictions on allowing the governor to drop the state out of ongoing lawsuits, such as the current challenge to the Affordable Care Act. Another was designed to limit early voting in the state, which is allowed in some areas. A third bill changes the makeup of Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and prevents Evers from naming a CEO of the group for 8 months. Immediately following Judge Neese's ruling, Evers directed the State Department of Justice to take whatever steps are necessary to remove Wisconsin from Texas versus United States. Back in December, Evers encouraged Walkers to consider how the bills would leave his legacy. Walker signed the measure in front of a Venn diagram which showed the powers of the office would compare before and after the bills took effect. According to the left-leaning groups that have filed the lawsuits against the measures, the bills were crafted illegally as part of an extraordinary session not previously scheduled, which they say violates the state constitution. And finally, Meijer's is opening up a new store in Sheboygan soon. Jeff Keitzman is the store director and says there are lots to offer, and the new business is already employed around 300 people from the Sheboygan area. The newest store, which will open on April 25th, will be located on North Taylor Drive. And that is our report for today. Join me again on Monday for more local news and information on Community News Review.
News content for this program provided by WHBL in cooperation with WSCS TV.